We're going to have a UFC fight on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. Dana's going to do it. That's what the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump, announced during his speech in Iowa, revealing plans for a grand UFC spectacle at none other than the White House itself, with 20,000 cheering fight fans. The event is meant to honor 250 years of American independence, and naturally, the headliners have to match the magnitude of the moment. So, who better than Conor McGregor and Jon Jones to lead the charge? The Notorious One wasted no time reacting to Trump's announcement of a UFC event at the White House. McGregor shared a post on X, leaking a private exchange with Dana White where the UFC president replied, "I love it," to his voice messages. Following that post, the Irishman added, "Happy 4th of July, USA." Excited with President Trump announcing a UFC fight event at the White House. "I would be honored. Count me in." The post sparked excitement among fans, hinting that the former two-division champ's long-awaited return might finally happen on a historic stage. And it's not only him. Former heavyweight champ Jon Jones has decided to jump back into the testing pool after realizing the occasion might be too big to miss. Taking to X, Bones, dropped, "Just re-entered the testing pool, which lasted for about 2 weeks. Figured we'd keep everyone's options open." His post right away made people wonder if the UFC was really going ahead with plans for the ideal event. But that doubt didn't stay long because an official UFC spokeswoman later verified that the intentions were real, putting an end to the confusion right away. Popular MMA news page Championship Rounds shared a statement from a UFC spokesperson via NBC News, adding a bit of clarity to the buzz. The statement read, "It's not clear how far along planning for the event is or how definite it is that it will happen," and the UFC spokesperson said more details would be released in due time. With Conor McGregor eyeing a grand return, possibly headlining against Michael Chandler, and Jon Jones potentially squaring off against Tom Aspinall in a heavyweight clash, there's no doubt this event could go down as the most successful UFC spectacle ever. But the real question is whether Dana White can pull off these blockbuster matchups. However, among all the buzz around these mega fights, there was also a rather unusual call-out that might catch the fans off guard. So, let's take a look at that. Who would have expected that the UFC White House would lead to such a strange call-out? With all the talk about McGregor, Jones, and the big event, UFC welterweight Philip Rowe wanted to get some attention for himself. Rowe called out Kayla Harrison, the current women's bantamweight champion, in a funny twist. He wanted to fight her at the Washington card. Rowe on X aimed at Harrison and wrote, "Give me at Kayla at the White House. #strap season #UFC White House." The post drove a hilarious reaction from the judoka herself, who thinks she'd be a little tough cookie to break, as she responded to his comment by writing, "You ain't ready for this, sweetie," essentially accepting the invitation to fight. That conversation made me think of the time Henry Cejudo called out Valentina Shevchenko for the first ever intergender title battle. And while a fight between men and women like that is definitely not going to happen, it does make you think about what kinds of surprises UFC Washington might have in store for us. The card could be unlike anything we've seen before, even if it's not quite as crazy as that. The venue, the event, and the hype all play a role. That being said, what do you expect from the White House card? Who do you believe should be the main event at this historic fight? Please leave your opinions in the comments below.